Hi, everybody. I'm Teresa Sterling. It's great to be with you. Really great. We're just getting into the studio rhythm here, and it's fun to kind of have company. I am bringing you right along as I'm working on some current custom pieces. This one is an abstract owl for an entryway in a really beautiful new build in Scottsdale, Arizona. And they are dear friends and collectors. So it's a second piece I'm doing for their home. Really excited about it. And I'm putting down clear and caustic medium for the base layers. So for our weekly sessions, just want to bring you in on studio life, talk about a few things, keep it succinct, but keep it useful. And I think of these sessions as just chatting with a friend, a really good friend. We're just hanging out. We're kind of talking about life. I'll take pauses or even stop the video, and then I'll rearrange things so you can also see what I'm working on at the same time. So I am also going to show you a couple other pieces that I am currently at work on, so you get a real sense of that. Let's just take a little tour real quickly. It's probably the easiest way. So this elk piece is also going to get some wax on it, hopefully today. That would really start putting me ahead. This buffalo bison piece is set and pretty much ready, I would say, for me to start putting the encaustic layers on. And then you've maybe seen shades of this piece. It's been underway for a while, but as promised, I just wanted to let you know what I'm working on. And this piece is interesting. Take note that I am going to talk about what's inspiring me lately, and we're going to talk about that piece just a little bit more. And then I'm telling you, I need more space here. Got a couple sleeping dogs over there, 1 and 2. And then this piece has been underway for a bit, and I'll be putting the finishing touches on this before too long. Alas, we're back to the main point. Everything takes time. So back to where we were. Get the camera set up. And anyway, it's just great to have you guys along for weekly sessions. It's my intention to just kind of show up and share with you what's going on. It's not a real fancy entry point or exit point. It's just studio segments. So I am putting this down kind of in a patterned way, and that's usually how I start every piece, is a couple layers like this, and then I'll melt it with heat and let a blowtorch, and then I'll go in and keep layering in some color, and I do photo and caustic work primarily. So it's great to have you guys along. As promised, I wanted to keep it on point today. I just shared with you some of the pieces I'm working on. I've also been doing an awful lot on marketing. I just created a press kit and had someone give it a once over and a little bit of a polish up. That's a good thing to send out to people in the realms that I'm trying to reach, which are everything from high-end residential to hospitality. So that felt good to do, and I kind of taught myself Canva for a second. I don't really know that much about it, but it felt good to sort of learn a new program, and I think it's easier than Photoshop. Photoshop is complicated. So as we're chatting today, this week's already been kind of wild, and it's early in the week. Projects have been done around here, subcontractors and so on, and with mixed outcomes. Had some leaky water with some roof cleaning, so now I got to deal with that this week. But I guess I just share with you some of that to say it's just life. It's just life. And I have to learn to let some stuff go and roll with things when it happens. And just also to let you guys know that hopefully that feels like you can relate. Everybody has stuff like this happen. So what else? I wanted to share with you, one, what I've been working on. So that's all of these pieces, plus several others and some samples for the trade industry, designers and homeowners. And then I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's been inspiring me lately. You know what I'm really drawn to and what I want to create more is the combination of start with an abstract base and then more realism. Well, some realism. So this piece almost would qualify because you have some abstraction in it in these background flavors. I know it's hard to see at an angle, but I'm really inspired and would be happy to share with you guys examples of abstract combined with realism. So that's one thing that's really inspiring me. I am thinking about more and more on composition and how the things in creating art are arranged and contrasts, the light with the dark, or the bold with the subtle, the strong lines or areas with the delicate or the soft. And it's contrasts in certainly in our art that makes things interesting. So that's been on my mind a bit and have been sharing that with members of our collective as well as on our private Facebook group page, Encaustic Workshops with Teresa Sterling. So those have been fun conversations. I'm interested in composition just because I'm mostly self-taught, and now I'm teaching myself that a little bit backwards. And it's cool to learn it backwards because, how I'm looking at things is certainly different than someone who's classically trained or sat in classrooms for many years and got their fine arts degree, which I respect mightily. And so my perspective is a bit different than that. Still working here. So that's been on my mind a bit lately. Let's see. Also, I'm thoughtful about what it means to, I don't know, show up these days as an artist and really own your voice, your brand. Um, Even to ask the question of oneself and of others, what is your why? So those are all interesting things. I'm interested in technique. Let me just pause this for a second. We'll get right back to it. Okay, we're continuing on. Just ignore any of the outside noise you guys hear. So I'm still on first layers of this good size piece. And this is just clear medium. So yeah, just working away. I find that I work best on multiples in the studio. It keeps me sharp. It also keeps me nimble when I'm painting. I don't know, I like it. I like working on multiples, and that's not for everyone, but I find they probably don't take as long when I can do that as well. Let's set that down for just a second. Again, ignore all the blowers outside. Um, like this little trick, I keep this wood piece around for holding heavy pans of wax right on top. And it's okay if it's touching those wax layers, no big deal. So we were talking earlier just a little bit about composition and contrasts and what we're working on multiples. I don't know, I just think as a full-time studio artist, I'm getting more contemplative about what an honor that is to be commissioned or paint for people, or even just paint art and have it valued by others and chosen for their home. It doesn't even have to be a commission. I'm trying to get some inventory art such that I can paint what I want and then maybe somebody else will value it. And what about that idea? I think that's a good one. I like that idea. I touched on what's inspiring me lately is the idea of almost nature deconstructed or abstract with realism. This piece has some of it in there. With the help of a talented graphic designer, we worked up this image with inputs and pulling from other projects that we had collaborated on. And they came up with this really fantastic base. And then once I get several layers on this, it will really be, a unique creation, as all the works are that I do with so many layers, or that probably any encaustic artist does. That's not unique to me. So, um, so once I get 2 layers on here, I'll jump in and fuse it. But I think I am more thoughtful lately just about the pure, humbling honor of working on pieces that are custom and holding others' excitement and vision as I bring that to life. And, I'm often amazed at how people find me or I find them, or together we find each other and come together in magical universe working its ways. I love that. Um, and also, just, I think being more thoughtful. So, this brings us to the third point that I wanted to do today for our weekly sessions, in studio sessions. I call these lifestyle. I'm recording them and then uploading them so that you can watch and rewatch. As we get more interest and involvement of participating in conversations, then we'll look into Zoom, or I just read about another format that looked pretty cool, and then I can upload it to YouTube, and we can still have dynamic Q&A, catch and release. The other thing that I have been thinking about, and it's been spurred by some of the membership collective great questions, and by all means, if you have any questions, do let us know by any way that you can. Click the links on the newsletters, send us an email, respond to the newsletters. Hopefully you're getting those. They should be coming into your inbox, exclusive content once or twice a week. Exclusive to you, these videos are too. But I have been thinking about becoming a more intuitive painter. And what that means to me is dropping into a piece while I'm working on it and really going deep into it, almost like you have a hood on and you're just going into it deeply. And then standing back and taking the 1,000-foot view, if you will, and just going along for the ride. It's almost like letting the basket just carry you out to sea. And what does it mean to become a more intuitive painter? I don't know. I mean, to me, it means seeing what the surface of the art wants in the layering, seeing what it's calling for, seeing what it's lacking, seeing what it wants to let go of, and being precious with color, being precious with layering, being precious with style and infusing it with all kinds of things. Less is generally more, I think, for the work that I'm doing anyway. So that's kind of what I've been pondering lately, is how cool it could be to spend the rest of my precious many years, hopefully ahead of me, being more of an intuitive painter. Feel like I'm just a kid, just starting out. And I could learn so much from my own experience. I can learn so much from others. I just signed up for another online, just really short course, painting course along these lines of abstract combined with nature or realism. I'm really excited to see what that will lead to. So, those are one of the things I've been thinking about. The other thing is someone recently on our collective, or one on our membership on our Facebook page, also said that, people sometimes think of social media posts and reels and things as drudgery. And this person had a really interesting take and said that, they consider it just another creative expression. And that really resonated with me, because I also consider, when I make reels for social media and things of that nature, I consider it also another expression of the artwork that I do in some ways, because you can infuse it with different things. And so rather than it's just kind of a ho hum, which it can be if you're marketing aggressively a lot, as many as of us do and want to and need to in order to do this for a living. But I liked reframing how we look at marketing and social media and saying, you know what? It's kind of a pleasure. It's an extension of creativity. Let's show who we really are. Let's show behind the scenes. Let's show the cutting floor. I mean, mine's a mess when you see the things that are in progress or perhaps didn't really work out that well. And of course, I have those. I'm more precious about the big custom pieces I do now, but I have lots of little pieces that end up on the burn pile and have over the years. That's just part of it. I don't get too hung up on that. And I guess the other thing I consider for myself as a creative and really a marketing person from my whole history is, not really taking things too personally on social media or sales and marketing or what have you. When one door opens, you jump in. When one door closes, it's kind of a bummer, but you just kind of dust yourself off and get rolling again. So I don't know. Those are some of the things I'm thinking about this week. I'm super excited to plunge into some of these warm tones, these nice nut browns and these soft blues. I'm excited to jump into painting that elk. It's a derivative of a design that I did many years ago. That will be a lot. Anyway, was just sharing with you some of the thoughts I'm having lately. So now I'm just fusing lightly. I'll try to keep us on point with final thoughts and conversation. Um, it's really my pleasure to just show up in studio and have you along as a little bit of company. I spend a lot of time alone painting. I prefer it in truth, but it's kind of nice to have virtual company. And it's kind of nice to share with others the process that I'm going through as I'm painting, hear about what you're going through as you're working. I love it when people share their process on anything, whether it's, you know, whatever you do for fun or for work. I think process is interesting. And it occurs to me, I don't share enough of my process. Certainly did a lot in the courses that we offer and have been offering online for some time. And maybe I sort of got away from sharing process in great detail, but anyway, sorry again for all the loud extra noise. But so those are the three things for this week. What am I working on currently? You got to see a goodly number of about 5 or more pieces in progress. What am I inspired by right now? I'm thinking about doing that new twist on nature and abstract, and then being more intuitive. And those are some of the topics that have sparked up lately. How do we think about composition in our art? What draws the eye? What makes the viewer feel alive? It's contrast. If a piece is all light, it doesn't have something dark, it's the contrast you need generally. So those are the thoughts I'll leave you guys with. I'd love to hear more of your questions about process, tips, tools, materials, you name it. We'll see each other soon.